An Unconventional Threesome is a comedy podcast hosted by three rude, crude, and tattooed dudes. We tell you this so you can shield your children's eyes and cover their ears. If you don't, we're not responsible for the fun and exciting new words that they start using. Enjoy.
Welcome to the show, yeah, it's a blast. Turn the volume up, we got to laugh. Every joke's a hit, you'll have a fit. Sit back, relax, let's start this bit. Tuned in live from the internet's heart, where every word is a work of art. Comedy gold, it never gets old. Jump aboard, let the fun unfold.
Welcome to An Unconventional Threesome, a comedy conversation podcast hosted by three dudes who have no business having a podcast. My name is John, and I am in basic white bitch mode. Hashtag pumpkin spice.
This is D Money, here with the sex appeal, of course.
Jay's here too. I had to throw up when I heard pumpkin spice, but it is Team Apple, you hooker.
I actually have to go apple picking this weekend, which brings me to the fuck's his name? Jim Gaffigan skit, where how much do I have to pay to work for you for free? Yeah, fuck that.
I got to give him credit for what is it? It was like pumpkin picking. Yeah, there's one. I'm done. Blueberries and I'm hitting it. It was something along that line. That was freaking brilliant.
Hot pocket. Hashtag Jim Gaffigan. So we did get an email into the An Unconventional Threesome at gmail.com email box, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I'm assuming I'm probably the only one that checks this. This comes from Wendy. I'm enjoying listening to the podcast. It reminds me of going for a walk around the parking lot at Name Redacted. It also makes me miss you all. Just wanted to let all you old men know that putting on your pants and socks while standing up is good for you and a sign you're aging well. It improves your core strength and balance. I believe it's called the sock test. It's a thing. I would like MK to be on more often. Just a request. Take care, Wendy. So I am not in good health according to this because I can't pass the fucking sock test.
So I would love to announce that as soon as she told me about that, I tried it and I got it on the second try. And that made me think. First off, make sure you don't have any sharp corners kicking around because you might swing your nugget off of an end table. But the second thing I thought of was it proves you're aging well. That's great. What if it just proves you've practiced that one thing and you're still aging like shit? Is there another test so we can make sure it's legit? Because I'm going to keep practicing that because I think, hey, great, maybe it's going to help balance and core strength. But what if I just get really good at that?
I think the next test at that point is we put you in a chair on your front lawn and then have some kids run around and see if you scream at them immediately.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting the hose out. I don't care what time of year it is.
Ooh, yeah, I don't think Joey would hesitate 1 second for that.
So 2 out of the 3 of us just recently did some traveling around this great country of ours. I had a, funnily enough, connecting flight. I think I talked about this before in Philadelphia, where I happen to mention that Philadelphia is not a large airport, and it's not, until you have to make it from gate F to gate C in a matter of 35 minutes, and the plane boards in 5 minutes. It's a little bit bigger than I would like it to be. But we made it. My first flight, I'm sitting in my hometown airport, just chilling. And I see this, how do I put this? Stereotypical Karen come through security, gather her belongings, and immediately walked up to the front desk.
Did she speak to the airplane manager?
I have no idea. She didn't have a problem on the flight that I am aware of. I was sat back towards the back of the airplane. She was more towards the front, so I can't confirm or deny. But I found it hilarious that was the first thing she did. She didn't even sit the fuck down. She immediately went to the counter. And then on my second flight, so let's quickly touch on airplane etiquette. You have a seat in front of you. If it is a full fucking flight, keep your fucking knees inside of the seat in front of you. The robust person sitting next to me decided to take up 6 inches of legroom from my side, as well as overflow under the armrest. So I'm also a large person. I had to squeeze my ass into like 6 inches of fucking space. That 2-hour flight felt like 6 fucking hours. I wanted to die. And then, not to make it worse, she was just rocking back and forth the entire flight. And I get it. Mental health is a thing. Anxiety is a thing. But for the love of God, buy a seat that is not going to impact anybody else. Have some etiquette and consideration for the people around you. Please.
I had some issues on a couple of my flights too. O'Hare is a giant airport, and this was a new experience for me because every time we've gone through and connected at O'Hare, like you said, you've got to run, you've got a limited time frame. Well, this time we actually had like 2.5 hours. So I said, oh, we don't have to like do the amazing race where I'm literally trying to jump the offensive line and get on buses before people. So it was like a leisurely walk, and we sat there, we grabbed a burger, and we're just watching everyone else that has to do what we normally do. It's like, oh, this is better. This is so much better. But we had, I think I sent you guys a text and advised you I was in a moron sandwich on my way out. So we were smaller plane, regional commuter from my home airport. So it was only, for the first flight, there was only 2 seats on the side we were on. So that was good. It was just the wife and I. But in front of us, we had a dad and a child. And the child wasn't crying, but was really excited to be on the plane and had to talk about all of the things the entire time. And then behind us, we had mom and 30-year-old son. And the 30-year-old son is extra special and was very concerned with whether or not Wi-Fi was available and why mom couldn't make it work yet. And across from them was dad and grandma. And it was dad explaining to grandma what they were doing when they got to the other grandma's house. And dad explaining for the entire flight that he and son were going to walk to the gate, and mom and grandma were going to need to get a sky cap because they would never make it. And we had to revisit that 30-second tidbit for 3.5 hours. So I had noise canceling headphones and downloaded an app for music that I didn't have to have Wi-Fi for, and that made the flight a hell of a lot more pleasant. On the way back, because of those 2 legs being ridiculous, we're getting ready to leave in the morning, and the wife's like, well, I couldn't upgrade us for both flights, but at least the 1 leg going home we're upgraded because I can't deal with this shit again. All right, well, here's the problem. So the leg, when we were leaving our most western area, heading back to O'Hare, sometimes I'm the guy who makes comments, and sometimes I'm the guy who's chill. And that is a yin and yang relationship with my wife. So this time I was calm, and she had had enough of everyone's bullshit. So there was a young lady that was getting on the plane, trying to stuff her stuff in the overhead bin, and she's slamming the fucking door, and it's not shutting. And she's smashing the shit out of another passenger's bag. So he gets up and was like, excuse me. And she starts kind of like barking at him, like, yeah, I don't want to have to turn my bag around. So my wife, sitting next to me, said, yeah, it's not that he's trying to help you, it's that you're smashing his bag, you fucking idiot. And she didn't realize how loud she said that. She said it loud enough that the woman heard, and luckily the woman was sitting right next to her in the empty seat in our little row that was no longer empty. And then 15 minutes after we're in the air, this lady decides she has to go wee-wee. So she literally touches my wife's forearm, like, excuse me, like we're old friends. I need to use the bathroom. And you guys know my wife. So you know how she responds to that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, dear God, can we not get on the no-fly list, sweetie? So that was our air travel.
Well, so on my way back, there was the flight I was on. It was 3 and 3 on either side from my flight out of Michigan to Philly. And the middle seat was empty. And so we get up in the air, and I don't think we're like 10 minutes in the air, and that seatbelt sign goes off, and the guy who's sitting next to the window taps me and says I have to use the restroom. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I let him out. He comes back, and then the beverage cart's coming through. He then puts down the middle tray instead of his own. And I'm like, fucking A. That's brilliant. That is the simplest fucking thing, and I hadn't even thought of doing that shit. So I could put my cookies and my drink on that tray and not be impacted by my own fucking tray hitting my gut. And then the final flight going into my home airport, this woman got up. The seatbelt sign had gone on. We were 6 minutes from landing. And she got up to use the bathroom, which tells me that this was probably an emergent situation. So she walked by, and I made a very good point to not breathe for at least 10 to 15 seconds in case that there was some felonious odor escaping. Fortunately, I didn't smell anything, but yeah, on the way back, I had a 3-hour layover in Philadelphia, and I made sure I loaded up on cheese curds, pierogies, and kielbasa, some of the stinkiest, gassiest foods you can get, to make the last leg of my flight fucking miserable for myself and more than likely others around me.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to, like, I stay dehydrated.
Oh, yeah.
Wife gets so mad at me about it because she's like, just use the bathroom on the plane if you need to. It's like, I know, but I don't want to have to. So
Right.
the drink cart will come around. I'll grab something. I won't take a sip till we're 30 minutes from landing.
Yeah.
That way I'm good. And if I've got a flight at like 5 a.m., I'll stop drinking anything at 5 p.m. the night before, just because I do not want to have to be in that situation where it needs to be awkward. What is with people taking off their goddamn shoes on the plane? Somebody help me understand that.
I have not had that lovely
Oh my
experience
God.
of someone taking their shoes off.
Are there people acting like it's their fucking living room? It's like, do you have any idea what's on these floors? I know you're still wearing socks, but dude, yuck.
Are we talking like the bear dogs are out? Like we're talking toesies up in the air, or are we talking like socks on?
Oh no, I'm talking just, socks are on, but the shoes are off, and like they're either getting kicked in the aisle or they're under the seat, and you're like just acting like you're in your own carpeted living room, just enjoying, your free toesies.
So on my flight back to the home airport, the fucking beverage cart was coming down, and the guy across the aisle from me, because it was 3 wide, there was one seat on the left by itself and then 2 seats to the right, and I had the seat to the left, so I had a seat all by myself. And the guy had his foot and leg like out in the fucking aisle, and they came down with the beverage cart, not seeing his leg, and ran that motherfucker over. It was the
Serves him
greatest
right.
thing ever.
Unless you've never been on a plane before, seen how they operate, or anything else, pay attention, dude.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for the first question now that we've gone on our tangents for the night?
Hell yeah, unless Dee wants to talk about travel, I say go for it.
Yeah, no, I have not traveled. I think with my past travel history, perhaps that might be for the best.
Do you guys pick up change from the ground?
Yes, unless it's a tails up penny, then for superstition it stays right where the hell it is.
So I did the math on it once, and it's like $40 an hour if you pick up a penny. that you're getting paid. It's something along those lines. Obviously, it depends on how quick you move. I don't move as quick as I used to, but I've also noticed a massive decrease in the amount of change on the ground, because I'm assuming it's because we're going more digital with our currency. And that's a whole other tangent of a topic. But I don't know if anyone else has seen that, but I don't know. Nickel and above I'll tend to, but is it really worth throwing my back out for a penny?
Yeah, I'm not picking up a penny. $1, maybe. A quarter, perhaps. But for the most part, and also it depends on where are we? Are we at the gas station? I'm probably leaving at least $5 on the ground. I'm not,
Why would that matter, D?
because I've seen who rolls into some of these gas stations, and it's just nasty. I just can't.
Oh, don't act like meth head Mary hasn't used a dollar bill to snort some crack before.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, man, it's going to be the dirtiest shit. If it's circulated money, you may as well shove it up a homeless person's ass and take it out with your teeth.
Delicioso.
And I was just thinking about it the other day. I have a change bucket that I throw all my change in. I don't think I've cashed it in probably 10 years because I'm so reliant on digital currency at this point.
I used to have like a big jar of change, but I never use cash now, so I never have change.
I mean, I usually have cash on me, but I usually, will toss it into a tip jar, or I'm going somewhere that works on rounded dollars versus involving change.
It's probably once a year for the change jar for me at this point, and that's just habitual. Sometimes it has $3 worth of quarters, sometimes it has 11. It's not much. It's just once a year I'll figure it out.
So my ADHD will get the better of me every once in a while, and I'll be just sitting there so fucking bored, and I'll dump all of my change on the floor, and I'll count it. I won't roll it. I'll just count it.
But do you alphabetize it as well?
Mint mark.
These are all the Philadelphia. These are all the Denver.
Well, and they have these apps now that you can scan a coin in, and it'll tell you if what its value is. And I'm like, motherfucker, where the fuck was this shit when I was collecting coins as a kid? I had a goddamn little red book that I had to reference and flip pages. It's like the encyclopedias when we were doing research papers in school.
Yeah, I thought about downloading one of those apps. I haven't been into coin collecting in a very long time, but it's still interesting to see where shit's come from. So you find something maybe that's a little unusual just to check it out.
Yeah.
D money, you've got too much money to bend down for anything that isn't $1.
No. Like I said, if it's like $1, a quarter, I'll do that. But I'm not picking up a penny, a dime. Because also another fear is, what if it's like glued down to the ground and I'm just on one of those prank channels? I don't want to be that guy. So
what you're telling me is I'm gonna get a $5 bill and a fish hook and just do the old timey thing for you.
exactly.
Oh, you almost had it. You got to be quicker than that. Yeah, I haven't really collected coins since I worked in the convenience store, because people would pay with like some wild shit, and I would just take cash out of my pocket and exchange it for what was in the till. Whether my bosses love that or not, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't work there anymore. It's okay.
I used to collect the quarters, and I had that book of like the United States with all the inserts. I'm pretty sure I almost had it fully completed.
So we had a water issue in our basement, and those big fucking cardboard, chipboard, whatever the fuck they were, things just got so fucking soaked and moldy and gross that we ended up just taking all the quarters out. But we had 2 complete sets, but they are no longer in mint condition. But after they got done with the 50 states, then they went on to what, national parks and shit?
Oh yeah, they're making it all commemorative on some level now to try to gain interest in coin because everyone's digital and no one gives a shit anymore.
Right. You know what else has lost a lot of traction is stamp collecting.
I was going to say anime just to give D a stroke, but
Don't
right.
say that.
They might have anime stamps. I don't know, but I just happen to be on the United States Post Office website just looking at all the commemorative stamps that have come out or are coming out, and I'm like, holy shit, they're like actually trying to stay relevant with this shit.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw anyone getting all hyped up about quarters or where they are. I still look when I get change. I still look to see if they're the one of the state ones. I don't think there's any nerds out there doing the same thing anymore.
I mean, I'm not after the state ones, but I can hear a silver coin in a till from like 20 feet away. I have trained my ear so heavily to hear that shit that I can spot or hear a silver coin hitting other change. It has a distinct sound. What is the best dog breed in your opinion?
I'm going to be biased and I'm going to say Black Lab.
I I have to be biased as well, and I go Staffordshire Terrier, aka Pitbull. I don't love labs. I grew up with labs, and I always just, maybe it's just we didn't train them well enough. I was a kid. I, probably didn't contribute as much as I should, but they were just constantly in the fucking garbage can.
Yeah, no, my dog still does that.
I tried the hot sauce trick, and my fucking first dog, Holly, she just moved all the stuff off the top of the trash can that had hot sauce on it and dug below it. I'm like, you fucking brilliant bitch. Fuck you.
Yep.
And obviously, it's all going to depend on the dog, too. And like I said, training and things like that. But no matter what we did, we could not condition our labs to stay the fuck out of the garbage can.
We had to spend, I think, probably like $50 at Home Depot for this like special trash can that had a locking lid because no matter what we did, we could not get Brady to stay out of it. But come to find out, it only works if you remember to actually lock it. So if you don't, your dog will still pull it down and pull everything out.
Jay, do you have an opinion on this matter? I know you're kind of anti-animal.
Yeah, I'm kind of anti-pets on a lot of levels. That's my hot take. Never owned one, but currently, Bernese Mountain Dogs are just the most kind, wonderful things. I've had some bad experiences otherwise, but those are always okay. No anxiety creeping up when I see them.
We were at a birthday party last weekend, and someone there had a Frenchie. Fucking dog was so fucking chill, man. It was awesome. And I was talking to the wife on the way home. I'm like, getting a Frenchie wouldn't be too bad. And she's like, yeah, you weren't there for the conversation about having to express their glands. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Never mind.
That's gross.
That, and they also, similar to the pug, they get the smushed up face causing, breathing issues. And that's kind of important to life.
Minor details, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also a huge cat person, but I know there are breeds of cats, but there's very few purebred cats.
If they're cooked properly, I'm all right with it. Shy of that, not really into cats.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm allergic to cats, so it.
You have a cat.
No, R.I.P. Cody.
Really?
Yeah. Thanks for
When the
opening
fuck
that.
Did that happen?
A couple months ago.
Shit, dude, I'm sorry.
No, that's it. It's okay.
While we're opening up wounds, did you say Brady's still around?
He is. He's
that's
fucking
awesome.
old too. He's 13.
Jesus.
Yeah. So can't wait for that traumatic event coming up.
You sound like you've got it scheduled, D.
Eva's pushing 9, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna hurt because she's
Yep.
not a small dog, so she probably got a few years left, and praying for another 20 years, and she outlives me. But I know sure shit that ain't gonna fucking happen.
It's my biggest reason to not be into pets, man. I cannot handle it emotionally.
Yep. But I also have to look at it from the perspective of they gave me 10, 12, 16 years of life and enjoyment for a few really shitty weeks of dealing with it. And yeah, I still get emotional over the pets that I've lost. I really do. Because call me a pussy. I don't give a fuck. I don't have kids. Pets are my kids. I think the time enjoyed with them still outweighs the trauma that goes along with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Once Brady goes, I don't know about another dog.
I mean, MK and I are certainly going to take a break from dogs when that time comes, strictly because there's so much that we are not able to do because we have a dog, and her anxiety is so high that we really can't board her anywhere for an extended period of time because she will just straight up shut down and stop eating, drinking, using the facilities. She just straight up shuts down. There will be a definite break. The cats couldn't give a fuck if I'm dead or alive, so that's always nice.
See, guys, we do talk about more deeper shit than actual shit and bathroom.
There's not a single bathroom topic on my question list here, so let's see if we can keep it that way.
Give it a minute, man. The conversation.
Wait, we did talk about pee-peeing and poo-pooing on airplanes.
That is true.
I found this one when I was scrolling through Reddit looking for different things to talk about, and this one kind of gave me pause. Why doesn't the Hippocratic Oath extend to doing no financial harm?
I think because when that happened, it wasn't remotely a financial institution. And I can't remember do you know what year that oath was? It has to be like at least 100 years old at this point.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. So I think at that point it wasn't westernized, for lack of a better phrase.
Hippocratic Oath was written around the 5th to 3rd centuries BC.
All right, so yeah, at least 100 years old.
Yeah, no, that one made me stop and think. I'm like, what do you define as harm? And I know ultimately, if it came down to the argument, the doctors would be like, well, I'm not the one doing the billing. That's my billing department. I don't make those decisions. I just do the procedure. But ultimately, they do have a hand in it.
Yeah, I think it's probably more in the spirit of that other medical book for new doctors, kill as few patients as possible. I think that's really where they're going with
it. Yeah, I just thought it was a good thinking. Think about this when you're sitting around a campfire high as a kite staring at the stars talking about space.
Saw a meme about that the other day, actually. Not high as a kite in space, but the doctor thing. That was just different types of medicine. And it was like, all right, so if you're in the UK, it was like, you need stitches. Come back in 45 days. And in the US, it was like, you need stitches. That'll be $10,000. And then in Canada, it was, you need stitches. Have you considered just dying?
See, and it's funny. We joke about that with the Canadian healthcare system, but we also have people leaving the US to go to Canada for the healthcare system. And then people in Canada that say, hey, it's the greatest thing ever. And then others saying this is absolute horse shit. So I'm sure it's probably geographically based. If you're just in bumfuck nowhere, yeah, you're going to probably be out 2 to 3 months for a doctor's appointment.
You got people coming back too, though, because you die of curable stuff up there waiting. So it goes in either direction. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Things cost what they do.
Yep. That's why we pay the insurance companies, right?
Oh, we got to find somebody to blame.
Those absolute angels.
They're fucking monsters.
Oh, fucking system needs to crumble. Oh my god.
It's delightful just how it is for anyone who might be listening.
Everything is not okay, by the way.
But any really bad shit that happens, we have nothing to do with it. We just sit on the internet and bullshit. So let me make that very clear. I know D's answer to this question. Have you ever had a paranormal experience?
He's never had a normal experience to compare it.
Facts. Jay, do you have an answer for that?
I don't believe I ever have, no.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, it was JB and I and his brother, and we went to the cemetery. And first off, don't put me in charge of recording audio. I will straight up re-record over that. But there was a lot of shit that we were hearing and heard on the recording, as far as like what is it? Respond and reply or something like that.
Call and answer or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty tight shit, I'll say that.
Well, and that all stemmed from my house that I currently live in straight up being haunted. So I had never, and don't at me, I don't fucking care. My shit was straight up haunted, whether you believe it or not. So I'd never dealt really with any paranormal experiences that I knew of. I was kind of probably in the same boat that Jay is, or not that I know of, until I moved here. So to make a long story short, we moved in and there was a closet door at the top of the stairs that would constantly open, and I would check it every time we closed it. Yes, it's latched, so something was turning the knob and opening it. And so we kind of dealt with that for a little while, and my wife was traveling away, and she was away on business, and she was gone for the week. So it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd get home from work and that door would be open. And I just happened to text her like that Thursday. I'm like, if that fucking door's open again when I get home, I'm going to stay in a fucking hotel. I'm terrified right now. So I get home, door's not open. Get ready for bed, take my contacts out, brush my teeth, go up the stairs, or start to go up the stairs, door's open. Fucking Christ. I'm not putting my contacts back in to go drive to a hotel. I'll fucking deal with it. So she came home the next day to protect me. I was fine. Sitting in the living room like a week later, MK still, she's on her way home from work, and I'm getting ready to go to the gym, and all of a sudden I hear like this Ring Around the Rosie type song coming from somewhere within the house. And I'm like, well, I'm going to the gym. MK will be home to protect me when I get home.
Yeah, I would have sold the house.
Fast forward another week, I'm channel surfing and I stop on a channel and then I move on, and all of a sudden I hear this very deep sigh, like this annoyed sigh, like right next to my head. Nothing is there. I'm like, what the fuck? And then a couple days later, I wake up and I was sleeping on my stomach, which I rarely do. And something was pushing me into the bed, and I was cold. My entire core was just shivering. My spine was shaking, and I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. All of a sudden, it just went away. I'm like, okay, I need to make a phone call. So I called the Ghostbusters. Actually, it was just a local paranormal investigating community who came out and found we were doing stuff with the REM pods, the EMP, EVPs, and we were getting like legitimate results. We were having a conversation through yes and no questions with something that lived in like the crawl space of that closet at the top of the stairs. So they take all the stuff back and they go to analyze it. And I'm telling them the story about how I was being pushed into the bed. And I was like, I never sleep on my stomach. Da 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 da. And just as I say, I never sleep on my stomach, you hear this breathy voice right next to the recorder say, "You're a liar." I have goosebumps right now thinking about it.
Too. Holy crap, dude.
And he called me, and then we were having a conversation a few minutes later. And we were saying, this is your house too, but basically don't fuck with these people. And as soon as the person said, "This is your house too," again, it comes across clear as day, "You're a liar." I'm like, what the fuck? So we have a friend who's a medium. We had her come a few weeks
Large.
later, and she's,
What up?
huh?
Ah. I said, I'm a
What?
large.
You're a fucking idiot.
Then you're not a large either, D. Let's.
I have
You're right in the
been
green
quite
pile.
some time.
Yeah.
So she comes to the house and she's like, "Listen, you got 3 spirits here. We got a guy who's in like newer clothing. We got a young boy who's in like older attire, and a young girl. I can't get a reading on her. She's chaos." I'm like, okay. So she helps the older gentleman pass along. He had an issue with another man being in the house, and obviously that's a huge issue because I'm not going anywhere. So he passes along, and she tells the other 2, like, cut the shit, basically. You can hang out, but cut the shit. Fast forward a couple months, and someone is slow rolling my house with their camera, their phone hanging out the window with their camera going, like filming my house. And I'm not a super confrontational person. I can usually just write things off pretty easily. And for some reason on this day, I decided, well, if they don't know my area very well, they're probably going to thinking there's only one way out of here, and that's to come back through. So I walk to the end of my driveway, and I see him coming down the road, and I walk right out into the middle of the road. They had 2 choices: hit me or stop. And he stopped, and I could see the fear in their eyes because I am a very ominous figure at times. And come to find out, his wife, her dad had built the house in the 80s. She's telling me some areas on the house where there are initials, and like it's on the back of the house in the concrete. Anybody walking by could see that. But then she said there's some in the stone wall that houses our septic system. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen those before. And she's like, yeah, they're over here. And so we go over, and buried under a shit ton of foliage is her initials. I'm like, all right, cool. She's legit. So I invite her in, and, we're talking about the house and all that. And she's telling me, she had, unfortunately, a somewhat traumatic childhood here. And remember when I said that little girl that the medium was able to sense was chaos? That's referred to as impact energy, which is typically a piece of energy from a person being left by traumatic events. So I didn't say anything about the haunting of JB House. And she emails me like a week later. She's like, thank you so much for letting us, come into the house and, showing us the improvements and da 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 da. She's like, I really feel like I've gotten a piece of myself back since being at the house. And I'm like, that just fucking lines up too fucking much for it not to be true. And we haven't had an issue since. We haven't had any real paranormal activities since then. I need to find a piece of wood to knock on. And yeah, so that led to me getting interested into paranormal investigation. And that's when D and I and my brother, we went out to a cemetery at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And me borderline shitting myself as soon as we stepped into that cemetery. It was horrifying.
Yeah, that would have gotten me interested in truck rentals and relocation, because I'm nervous myself in my own house right now hearing that.
Everybody says that, including my own neighbors who refuse to set foot in my house now. Until you live it and experience it, it's hard to say it's not going to bother you. Because, like I said, there was nothing super ominous about it. It wasn't like I was waking up with bruises and scratches. I think there was just some level of animosity for that older gentleman that was here with me being in the house, but he didn't intend to harm me.
Still way too spooky. Way too spooky.
Oh, but it had some spice to life. And like I said, things just lined up too well for it to not have some level of truth to it. It was because you're talking to one of the biggest doubters available. I doubt everything. Everything's allegedly with me. Nothing's true. But it just seemed so coincidental. There were too many coincidences for it to not have some level of truth to it. And D, I still have the video recordings from our night in the cemetery. I'm going to try and extract the audio from it and see at least the part where we're asking the caretaker surrounding that church if they want us to leave. I'll see if I can extract that audio and put it in.
All right.
Like an actual live human that was there wondering what you were doing, or
Nope. Spirit caretaker that still walks around the church.
okay then, yeah. Miss me with all of that bullshit the next time you guys see me. I'm out of town, way busy that day.
Well, and I have the audio from the paranormal investigators too, but it's really hard to hear. You got to like put noise canceling headphones on and then crank it the fuck up to really hear it. So I'm not going to put that in to the episode because I don't want to blow out your eardrums.
I think we should do one episode where we're recording it in like a haunted building.
My house.
No, we don't want to bring the spookies back there.
That sounds like a great time to have a guest host or to bring MK back for an episode. I think the only remotely paranormal thing I've experienced would have been was after my grandmother died. We're getting ready to go to the wake, or to the funeral itself, and we all go out her front door. An overwhelming, pleasant smell of like hollies that wasn't there at any moment in the few days before or after.
No, Jesus.
So that I'll say okay. My aunt, of course, anytime anything happened, she was like, "That was mom." So like the laundry, like some blanket disintegrated. Yeah, that was mom telling us to laugh. A magnet falls off the fridge. That was mom telling us to chill out.
Well, I was named after my uncle, and when he passed away a number of years ago, they had the funeral up here in the Northeast, and he had lived down in Georgia for a number of years, but they had decided to have the funeral up here. And the guy loved snow, and we had his funeral services in October. And we go in, it was chilly out, but we go in and do the services and we come out and it's fucking snowing in October, which is very unusual for this area. It was weird.
He likes snow too, right?
Absolutely fucking not. Hate that white shit.
Hey guys, Future John jumping in here. So I just want to give a quick backstory on the two clips you're about to hear because I was able to extract the audio from both. The first track you're going to hear is from our ghost hunt in the cemetery, and we are playing with the EMF detector and kind of asking some questions. It's just a short, like 1 minute clip of it. But to kind of set the stage here is we were asking questions and the EMF detector was kind of jumping up and jumping down for yes or no. We had given it instructions prior to this. But we were asking it if it wanted us to leave. And so this is part of that conversation that you'll hear here. The second clip that we'll play is for the ghost hunt at my house. And I was able to kind of modify the audio so it can be heard but not blow out your eardrums. So it is edited, but it's just strictly for clarity's sake. I also wanted to give a shout out to New England Paranormal Investigators, who were the group that investigated my house at the time. So thank you for that. And here are the clips. Do it again. It's staying up. All right, we're leaving. Thank you.
Hold on.
We said we'd leave.
I know. But I want to make sure that wasn't the phone.
All right, now it's at 0. Do it again.
We're at 0 now. If you make this turn red one more time, I promise we are leaving. You did a great job. We just want to make sure that it was you and not the phone. I see you're getting close. It's okay, you can come a little closer.
Bring the phone down, Steve.
I didn't move.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bring the phone.
The best way for me to describe what happened was it felt like my internal organs were vibrating. And I wasn't moving. And I was face down on the bed, which never happens. Alright, I think I've had enough depressing medical topics and scary stuff, so thanks for sticking with us through this episode. If you're enjoying this podcast, please share it with your friends and family. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions for us, you feel free to get at us on our Facebook page, which is just an unconventional threesome, or you can email us at an unconventionalthreesome@gmail.com.
If you're not enjoying it, by the way, lighten up and open your mind a little bit. You'll come around.
Yeah, you doo-doo heads.
Maybe one day we'll have an actual point of this podcast, but for now, it's it's going to remain the Seinfeld of podcasts, where it's literally about fucking nothing. Most of the feedback we get, it's like sitting in the room, just listening, sitting in a bar and listening to three guys have a conversation, which is ultimately what we're going for. But like I said, if you got any topics that you want to hear us discuss, feel free to shoot those over. This week's Craigslist catastrophe out of Milford, Massachusetts, titled Friends of Samantha N. Looking for friends of Samantha N. This is John.
Fusion. This is D-Money.
And Jay.
I just completely missed my desk when trying to set my phone down. I hope I didn't break it. We will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Later with the government.
Podcast party time, grab a seat. Every listen feels so sweet.